Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everybody. It is your boy Jay Butter Smooth, and today we're actually going to do a tier list because that's what WoW needs. Another tier list from another nobody, and nobody being me. Okay, so we already have the tanks listed, right? Tanks are in tank tier. I mean, that's a whole another video talking about tank balancing and everything else. I'm really not too concerned about it. I play tank in PvE, but not my style in PvP. They're annoying. It's just being the annoying tier. You're annoying. Just kidding. But okay, so we're just gonna start things off right off the rip. Havoc Demon Hunter. Havoc Demon Hunter is one of the classes that I've always really enjoyed. It's always super fun. It's super engaging, very flashy. With that being said, how is it in a random battleground/battleground blitz? Solid. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it into the A tier, but that's subject to change. Maybe going down to list in the A tier a little bit later. But it's got high damage, high mobility. It can spin. It can live with the two blurs, potentially specking into darkness. You can stall for a while. You've got good damage. I won't say it's the best damage. I don't think you're doing devour damage or anything like that, but it's pretty solid. For that, I have to go ahead and throw it right in the A tier. Moving on to Feral. Feral Druid. Feral Druid, very good at 1v1 in a battleground scenario. I'm personally going B tier. Keep in mind that this is all subjective. This is all what I see, what I play. I've leveled up 290s, been playing BGs nonstop, and this is what I've been seeing. I haven't had too many trouble with ferals. I've been playing Arms Warrior and Windwalker a lot. Not really struggling against them unless it's a 1v1 scenario. Then they can, of course, kite, clone, do whatever they got to do, and they're very good. But alas, this is Battlegrounds. They have good sustained damage, good spread pressure with their bleeds, but they have a hard time closing. They can't finish the job. They're like a salesman. They can't quite get it there, right? They need somebody else to help them in a battleground. BM. I'm going solid A tier for Beast Mastery Hunter, personally, just because Beast Mastery, very high sustained damage, great kiting, good survivability. It's not going to burst you down in seconds, quite like a Marksmanship Hunter will, but it's very good. It's in a solid spot right now, both PvP and PvE, but in Battlegrounds alone. Great at spinning flags, great at holding down a scenario, great at spread pressure, spread damage within the Battleground itself. So, again, A tier, very solid pick. If you're going BM Hunter, if you like simple classes that are just going to perform consistently, BM's pretty much the way to go. Survival. Very situational, but let's see here. I'm going to have a hard time placing this one because I feel like it has really good burst damage, but the simplicity of survival now in Battlegrounds has kind of, in my opinion, made it worse in a way that it's counterable in a sense like Enhancement Shaman is. That go Stormbringer. Like if they rock just that 2-minute burst window cooldown, or in this case, the 1-minute takedown boomstick combo, you can kite it, you can predict it, you can damage it. But this isn't Battleground. So in a Battleground, in a team fight, locking down healers, I'm going to go B tier above Feral. I think it's got great damage output. I think you can lock down a healer, but I think it's going to struggle against other classes that do its job better. For example, like a rogue for defending a flag, or for locking down a healer, a rogue yet again. I just think it doesn't do its job as good as other classes do its job, if that makes sense. But again, very fun, very engaging. The class fantasy is a little all over the place, but if you play a Dwarf Hunter, it looks great. BGs, you're going to have fun with it. You're going to have great 1v1. It's pretty good in a 1v1 scenario. In a team scenario, it's kind of where it struggles. So that's why it falls in a B tier for me. Marksman. Don't even get me started on these Marksman Hunters, man. Right into the S tier, especially with these Apex talents with this guaranteed crit shot at the guaranteed critical aim shot. Oh my lord. They went from being an absolute joke in their pre-patch to back to reigning supreme in battleground scenarios and world PvP as soon as they all hit 90 and got their honor gear. They're great again. If you see that true shot pop up, you better get over there, disarm it, CC, do what you gotta do. Great damage. They've always been pretty good at spinning flags. They can stall for a while. Great kiting. A good hunter will let you know that he's a good hunter. You can clearly tell the difference. If you roll Marksman, you're going to have a blast in Battlegrounds all the time. You're going to be driving the J Butters of the world absolutely crazy. So enjoy it. It's fun. I almost don't ever play one out of spite, but I probably will just because, can't, might as well join them, right? Can't beat them. Assassination Rogue, sleeper. I think Assassination Rogue, high A tier. So we're going to put it right there. Assassination Rogue, I think, is a lot better than people are giving it credit for. And I think now that it's getting gear, people are starting to realize that, especially with the Kingsbane. Kingsbane hits like an absolute truck. Granted, kind of the same scenario as like your survival hunters. You can kind of tell when it's coming, but the good thing about Assassination Rogue is they have a lot of spread pressure in team fights, the garrote silences, and then that single target pressure with the Kingsbane, all that. Great. Rogues are always going to be good. I almost want to bump it up in the S tier, but I'm not, just because it's clearly outperformed by a sub rogue. A sub rogue is levels above Assassination Rogue. And with that being said, can I even see it? Yeah, let's just go and do the sub rogue. Boom. S tier. Battleground scenarios. What's there to even say? You're killing things in a cheap shot. Even with the nerfs during a pre-patch, you're still reigning supreme. You are the king rogue class at right now. You can shut down a healer. You can kill anybody in a stun. Granted, they are trinketless, whatever it may be, but sub rogue is fantastic. It's insane burst damage, great control. Overall spread pressure is really, really good. What else to say about sub? Of course, battleground scenario, you can ninja flags, no problem. The sat blind combo gets people all the time, especially if they're standing close to the flag. Sub rogue's another one. If you're looking for great solo classes to carry battlegrounds, and that's kind of what the S tier almost means for me, is S tier is you can like change the tide of a BG on your own. A good marksman hunter, changing the tide. A good sub rogue, you can absolutely control a battleground. They're going to have to focus you and take the resources from somewhere else to take care of you if you're good at the game and you know what you're doing, right? So, okay. Outlaw rogue. Unfortunately, in a battleground scenario, I'm going to put it right with Feral. It's kind of got the same issue. Good control, decent cleave, can't finish the job. The new Killing Spree, I like it. It's fun. It's a cool button. But it has the same problems it's always had, and that being assassination and sub can close, right? They can finish the job. They can take you out, take whoever out of the game, whatever it may be, right? They can finish it, kill the target, kill the healer, kill the flag carrier, whatever it may be. But while it does strive in a flag carrying scenario, granted you go the crazy quadruple grapple hooks, however counterable by a decent team, but that's really their only shining grace. Generally, if you see an outlaw rogue, you kind of have to pray that it's one of those few outlaw rogues that knows what they're doing. And I love outlaw. It's one of my favorite specs in the game. It's fun, it's flashy, it's fast. But it's just, you have to work twice as hard to get the same result as the other rogue specs. Fury Warrior. Okay, Fury Warrior. I think I'm going to go for battleground purposes. This one's tough for me. I think it's a little better. You know what? I'm going to go high B tier, I think. Because it does a really good damage. And it has great sustain. And if you have a healer on you, you're spreading that pressure, especially if these new Fury Warriors are rocking, what is it? Mountain Thane, if that think's what's called. The Thunder Shock, spreading that damage pressure, getting the whirlwind procs where you're hitting multiple targets. It's doing a lot of damage right now. You have to counter it. You have to focus. If you see it popping its cooldown, you kind of like, okay, maybe I should like chill out a little bit. It's definitely better than Arms Warrior is, unfortunately. But I don't think it's crazy good. I think it's solid B tier. I think it could use a little bit of love. And that's kind of what the B and C tiers are for. Arms Warrior. So, people will have you believe Arms Warrior is absolutely atrocious. Now, I don't think it's as bad as people say, but I am going to put it in C tier because it doesn't have the high sustain pressure that these classes at least have. It doesn't have the great cleave I think that these classes have, and I'm playing an Arms Warrior right now at max level 90. I've had really good games and I've had really rough games, and there's in a random BG, let's say both teams are competent and they know what they're doing. Arms Warrior is going to really struggle. Now, if you're going against a random team and you're kind of pub stomping a little bit and you're a good Arms Warrior, you can kind of work your way around it. But I think in an even set scenario where both teams know what they're doing, you're going to struggle as Arms and it's going to need help. I almost want to put it in Blizzard, please. But those few good games that I have had make me think that it's not all doom and gloom. Okay. All right. But it is fun. I'm playing Colossus. I can't really speak on Slayer. Slayer is a little bit, I think, underwhelming right now with the nerfs to the procs. But Colossus, I think, with a little bit of tuning, I think Arms Warrior can really thrive this season. I just think it needs a little bit of love. And I think our first Blizzard Please mention Augmentation Evoker. Now, take this with a grain of salt because I have very little experience with Aug, but the ones I've seen around the 1 in a million are not having a huge effect. Yeah, maybe they're buffing their team up a little bit, but I'm not even kidding. I think I've seen one good Aug Evoker ever in Battlegrounds, at least. They're just very underwhelming. They don't really know what the class is doing. I say Blizzard. I feel like they just can't quite figure out what Aug is supposed to do. The support class thing is kind of running rampant, and they kind of either lean into it hard to where that's its role and it's the only one of its kind, or kind of make it like a Ret Paladin where it's back to damage with a little bit of support, right? Devastation Evoker, Battlegrounds, S tier. I think Devastation Evoker has great control, especially that double deep breath now. Insane burst damage, great kiting, great survivability. You can get locked down by like a rogue or something like that, but that's everybody in the game. So let's be for real. But our Devastation Evoker, very fun, ranged, self-sustaining, great spread damage, great single target damage, and good CC as well. It can sleep targets, root targets, double stun on deep breaths, get in and out of scenarios, dip and dive, whatever it's got to. Very good in Battlegrounds. A good Devastation Evoker, much like all these S tier classes, is going to make its presence known, and you're going to notice it, especially when that Battlegrounds ends, and you see it at the top of the damage charts. Okay, I'm going to hold off on the healers for now. So we're just going to go Frosty Keg. I put Frost down here with Arms Warrior, to be honest. Frost, it's the same it's always been. That one trick pony. You see it's rocking that its burst, and you disarm it, CC it, do whatever you got to do, get out of there, and you can kind of counter it. It's like the Enhancement Shaman Stormbringer. I keep using that reference, but that 2-minute cooldown window, we all see it coming. When you get to a certain rating, you're null and void. But in a random Battleground scenario, you can have fun, you can do well. Do I want to put it C tier? I don't think so. I think it does better than Feral. So I'm going to go with that. I'll put it in mid C tier right above Survival Hunter. I think it does. I think in a Battleground scenario, it's just as good as a Fury Warrior, but better than these three. So not Arms Warrior tier, but with a nerf or two, it could be right there alongside Arms. Unholy. I think Unholy is either the top of A tier or S tier, and I can't decide. So I'm going to go. I think Unholy's in a great spot. I think Unholy has great 1v1. I think Unholy has great spread damage. And I think Unholy has great survivability. With a healer or whatever it may be in a Battleground, Unholy is a presence. Like, you notice it's there. You kind of know it's got to get targeted down. It's almost like a Destro Lock. It's the Destro Lock of melees almost. You're like, oh my gosh, dude, get this thing away from me. And when you try to tab target, don't even get me started. You can never target the damn Death Knight. That might as well be defensive. It's all those minions got around it. You can't even target the damn thing. But for that reason, great damage, great sustainability, great 1v1, and on this little side dish, class fantasy, they kind of nailed it on this one. It's easy, it's accessible class, it's fun to play. And I guess that's our, outside from Sub Rogue, a melee to join the ranks of S tier. Fire Mage. Now keep in mind, this is a Battleground tier list. I think Fire Mage, top of A tier. Yeah, I'm going to go top of A tier. They do really good damage, and they can get in and out of dodge, but Mage always has that downfall of being kind of squishy. to other range. And of course, the melees are having a hard time. But with marksmanship being S tier, I'm gonna find it hard to put um, a mage in S tier because they're one. Your marksmanship hunters are 2 to 1 mages, if not 3 to 1 mage players. They're everywhere all the time, so easily counterable by marksmanship hunters. And marksmanship hunters, they see a mage, they start falling at the mouth. They know what they're doing. But I'm gonna go high A tier. Fire's got great damage, pretty good control as usual. You know, the ice wall and BGs is, especially on maps like Eye of the Storm, is invaluable. A good ice wall can change the tide of a game. A good mage can change the tide of the game. It's a great class, good pick. And of course, you have the other 3 specs that are fun. That being said, Frost Mage. I'm gonna go Frost Mage. I'm gonna put it kind of right here in between Feral and yeah, I'll put it right here by Feral and Survive. It's kind of like on the same tier as these, where they have that good damage with the Ray of Frost and all that stuff, and the Glacial Spikes and good control. They always have. They can make an Arms Warrior's life absolutely hell. But kind of the same scenario where Marksman Hunters are reigning supreme, Sub Rogues are reigning supreme, Assassination Rogues are good. A lot of the melees are pretty good, and a lot of the melees don't have a hard time getting to it. You know, Survival is also ranged. It can throw bombs, can do its thing, bleeds from the Feral. You know, Outlaws even got a pistol, right? Death Knights are doing really well. So mages in a little bit of trouble when it comes to some of the melee right now. But you're good to beat up warriors. Do whatever you want for those guys. It can do nothing about it. For the sake of finishing up the mages, I'm gonna put Arcane right by. I'll put it right above in a battleground scenario. I'm gonna put it right. I'll put above Havoc, but I don't think it's as good as Fire, but it is very good. I think Arcane is good. I think it has better survivability than a Fire. I don't think it has as good an AOE, but it does really good single target, I think, in comparison. But so does Fire. I think Fire does it a little bit better and a little bit easier as well, and that's gonna kind of comes into play as well. I think Arcane is very good. I think a good Arcane is kind of similar to like a good Dev. Very hard to kill. They're just impossible to touch. They know how to use your cooldowns. A good one is going to make sure you know they're there. They have good 1v1. Rep Paladin joining the Unholy as a S tier. I think it is better than Unholy. I think Rep Paladin is in a fantastic spot for Battlegrounds. I think it's going to have its presence felt in arenas as well. Great at spinning flags. They can live forever. They've got every defensive in the game. It drives me nuts. You will come to know by watching my channel. I'm a Rep Paladin and a Marksmanship Hunter hater. But they are very fun classes. I do enjoy them when I play them. But when I play against them, my lord, they drive me nuts. They're very good. They good defense against magic, good defense against melee. They got bubble. They got lay on hands. They got freedom, blessing of protection. It's insane, dude. They've got everything in the book. And on top of that, they got a 45-second big damage window right now for people playing Templar and things like that. They're doing great damage, great sustain, great AoE, great single target. And on top of that, they're hard to kill. S tier for sure. I think they're better than Unholy. Just in the sense they have more survivability. Okay, Windwalker, my main for this season. I think Windwalker is very strong in a DPS sense. It can do a lot of damage. But Windwalker's biggest downfall is the lack of defensives. And for that, I'm going to put it right here with Fire Mage. I'll put it, I think it's better than Assassination, maybe. I'll put it right here. Kind of same tier as these guys. I think this is solid. It does great damage. It is a 1v1 monster, especially against something like a warrior or even a Death Knight. I don't really struggle against Death Knights personally on my Windwalker. People misuse Windwalker's best defensive, which is running away or getting out of there very often, and that's why they die often. But lack of defensive and lack of survivability being a leather class, especially with sub-rogues, marksmanship hunters, a plate class, paladin, plate class, unholy, you feel the pain of these S tier classes coming down on you. So that's the only reason it's A tier. I think if it had like an extra defensive or something like that, it would be an S tier class. It's very good, very strong. The class fantasy is rolling right now. It feels good. I won't say you're gonna have as good a time on Windwalker just because you have to kind of learn to dip and dive with Windwalker, a lot like Survival. You got to get in, get out. You can't stay in and sustain a fight with a Fury Warrior outside of your cooldowns, or you can't outsit. Same thing with these guys. If they're going crazy and you don't have an active defensive rolling and a healer, you got to get out of there. There's nothing you can do. So if that, A tier. Ellie Shaman. I'm going B tier for Ellie. I think Ellie has great damage, but I think it's being outperformed by the mages of the world and the warlocks of the world. I'm gonna put it right here, right here, my survival and frost. I think it does good damage. It does decent, but I don't think it does as much damage as, let's say, a Destro Lock or something, or these two mage classes. And it does have good AoE. And the fun, the totems, a lot of control for battlegrounds. It is fun. And you have, I don't think you have Thunderstorm anymore, actually, do you? But damn, you don't have the knockback anymore. Or does, I think Elemental might still have it. I think Enhancement doesn't have it, but I think Elemental still does. So Elemental still has the one knockback left in the entire game. So if maps like either Storm or Rothi Basin, you're going to be having a good time. But it's a good class, solid. I'm almost hesitant to keep it B tier, but I think I will. I think it's okay. I think it's good. B tier means it's good, right? C tier means needs love. Obviously, Blizzard Please means Blizzard Please. Okay, Boomkin. Boomkin. What can we even say? I think Boomkin has really good AoE, but I don't think Boomkin's got the kill potential that it used to. I think Boomkin is struggling to kill things right now. I think it's just a fluff. They just fluff the meters. I think Boomkin, honestly, right here with Ellie. Only reason I don't want to put it with Ellie is because it does more damage in AoE, but I just don't think it's that good. I'll put it at the bottom of A tier because in a battleground scenario, that spread damage is very valuable. But I think it struggles to kill. It really does. I think they need a buff to Star Surge. Of course, I don't want range classes to be strong ever because I play melee pretty much exclusively. But I think Boomkin does need a little bit of love. I think it does good damage. And in a 1v1 scenario, I think it's going to be okay against classes. It's outside of like Death Knight and like Rogue. But I think against all these other classes, it'll be okay. It's still a druid. It still has great 1v1. Can run off, heal, clone, do whatever it's got to do. But the only reason it's in A tier and at the bottom of A tier is it does good sustain. Demolock, very strong. I'm going at the top of A tier, right by Fire Mage. Just me personally. I think it's strong. It has very strong cast if it's not focused. And even if it is focused, it has so many micro CCs. It is so hard to fight. And on top of that, the ports and the what do you call it? They have two ports, right? The one demonic circle and then the actual gate itself. So the mobility they have is pretty solid. The survivability that warlocks have in general, insane. And then Demo has great sustained damage and good burst damage. It has good control as well. A very good class for battlegrounds. Has a little bit of a learning curve because those warlock casters do get pounded on, but if you can figure it out, you're gonna be okay. Affliction. I think Affliction is B tier for sure. Kind of same thing as like these classes, whereas you can use spread damage. Honestly, I think Affliction might be C tier. I'm going C tier on Affliction. I don't think it's as bad as like as an arms warrior. And C tier, I mean like plus C plus ish, kind of. I guess it's a little bit better, but not really noticing Affliction damage. It's doing, of course, it does what Affliction does. It spreads odds and it spreads damage, but outside of that, what are we really talking about here? It's kind of the same problem. Kind of have a hard time finishing targets, right? Destro, get up there. Destro's insane right now. Destro, I got hit by a 205k Chaos Bolt the other day. Like, is there anything else to say? Like, those things are nuts. And Destro has great survivability. I think it's better than Dev. I think it's not as good as Ret. I'd put it on par with an Unholy DK. I meant to say Dev, not as good as Destro. Destro is really strong, really good spot. I think it is the strongest of the Warlock classes for sure. No, not without question. Shadow Priest. I think we're going A tier again. I'll put it right above. I think I'll put it below Windwalker, actually. It's good, very strong, great 1v1. Good dot pressure, sustained damage. I think it's a lot better than it has been previously. Strong to class fantasy rocks. It's absolutely crushing in BGs. I think it's kind of the same for any class. And this is why you have to take tier lists with a grain of salt. Any of these classes can do well. The player just has to practice and get to know the class and do well. Now, will it be as easy as playing a marksmanship hunter? No, but you can still do very well, and you can outperform a new marksman hunter, right? So, Shadow Priest is very good damage. Unfortunately, very slow leveling, but that's not important right now. It's very good. I notice when I see Shadow Priest throwing out those tendrils, throwing out those purple beams, I'm like, all right, let me get over there and make sure this guy isn't doing whatever he wants to my team. Okay, and then Enhancement Shaman. I think Stormbringer Enhancement Shaman, great burst, very strong, but so easily counterable. For random BGs, I think you're going to have a great time in Stormbringer. Every 2 minutes, you're going to go off, do your thing. You're probably going to get a kill no matter what, because Stormbringer is just Stormbringer. But if you're playing against competent people in Battleground Blitz, let's say at the 1800 level or above, who know if as soon as they see that Ascendance to disarm, fear, stun, make sure you don't get to have any fun, rough. But I'm going to put Enhancement at the bottom of A tier for the reason that I think one, Stormbringer's good, and you can still do very well with it, and you have a lot of damage and good control as a Enhancement Shaman. Totemic Enhancement Shamans, on the other hand, I think are a lot more sustained, and they have a lot more unpredictability about them, and they do a lot more damage on a shorter 1 minute window. And they have pretty good survivability with that heal at 10 stacks. They can kite pretty well, and I think they're an asset to their team. I think BG wise, Enhancement Shaman is pretty good. I think it's doing better than Fury Warrior. I think it's better than Frosty K. I think it's better than those things in the B tier. And healers are healers. I may make a separate tier list for them one day, but I think that's it for this one. So these are my thoughts on Random Battlegrounds being, a few days into the new expansion. We'll see on the 17th how things change. I'm very excited to see how it goes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you agree, disagree, think I'm absolutely out of my gourd with some of these classes, or if your personal experience has been much different than mine. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm glad to have given you guys another tier list that, WoW doesn't have enough. But hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below. Tell someone you love them. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.